is Keisha, and I'm a proud member of the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan. And I'm also a survivor of human trafficking. My trafficking began in Saskatchewan, moved into Alberta, and even crossed into the United States. I was stalked, hunted, and ignored by the very systems over the last 5 years that were meant to protect me. This is why, with my father Dale Richardson, we started the Caris Project. This is an Indigenous, survivor-led movement for humanity dedicated to exposing trafficking, government corruption, and holding institutions accountable. One of the most powerful tools that we are using is the petitions for redress of grievances. These are lawful constitutional actions rooted in Canadian and US law, and in treaties that tie us together across provinces, across states, and even across borders. These petitions are precedent-setting. They create a binding record. They demand accountability while representing reconciliation in action. Indigenous and non-Indigenous people working side by side to preserve liberty for all. But we cannot do this alone. We need your help to keep this movement alive, to raise awareness and to build a legacy of justice for Indigenous women, for trafficking survivors, and for families everywhere. Thank you. Please stand with us. Your support makes this work possible. Together we can restore justice, heal families, and defend freedom. And I will close with my favorite quote. The greatest want of the world is the want of men. Men who cannot be bought or sold. Men who in their inmost souls are true and honest. Men who do not fear to call sin by its right name. Men whose conscience is as true to duty as the needle to the pole. And men who will stand for the right, though the heavens may fall. Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Caris Project podcast. We are at episode 142 of The Matrix Reloaded. We are going to talk about few things, starting off with some of the stuff with Charlie Kirk and his unfortunate assassination. It's always a tragedy when people lose their lives. Don't necessarily have to agree with something that somebody says. Assassinating someone is wrong. He was a Christian, and there's a lot of religious motivation that people are not wanting to talk about. Political figures don't get some guy like that on a political aspect is not going to be the higher target. It's the Christians that they're trying to pull into a bad situation because they knew that they were going to make him a martyr, and they wanted people to get riled up and agitated and to overreact, which is exactly what they want. The globalists want to just wipe people out, and they want an excuse. But it's unfortunate that the man lost his life. His children are fatherless. His wife is now bereft of her husband. And that's a situation that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. And people that do, God help your soul, because that's wicked. So we're going to pull up a couple of clips here of different things from Charlie Kirk, and this is the first one.
Did you notice Charlie Kirk's bodyguard constantly checking his watch right before Charlie's sudden death? There are 3 details that suggest Charlie's death might not have been an accident. First, Charlie's bodyguard was standing at the farthest spot in the venue, and if you pay attention to his movements, you'll see he checked his watch multiple times throughout the event. His actions were tense and repetitive. A professional bodyguard usually only checks the time when necessary, but his frequent glances seemed like he was waiting for a signal or that some plan had already been coordinated with someone else. Second, during Charlie's speech, there was no one sitting near him. The remaining 2 bodyguards were standing off to the side, looking around nervously, but one of them kept looking toward the ceiling, completely ignoring fans who were filming. He didn't react to anyone raising a potential threat and seemed completely detached, almost like he wasn't really watching what he was supposed to. Finally, when the incident actually happened, the bodyguard's reaction didn't match standard security protocol. Normally, in an emergency, a bodyguard's first instinct is to protect the principal, but in the video, he didn't immediately go to Charlie. Instead, he looked around first, like he was checking something before acting. Put together, these details make it hard not to wonder if there's more to this accident than meets the eye.
Yeah. So there is obviously some stuff going on there. I mean, there were some oddities people were pointing out. I don't know all of the stuff that the guy's saying, but there is definitely some questions that have been raised with the way that things have been handled and what's going on. So that's something that I think people need to pay attention to because even with the whole way the investigation is going, they grabbed the wrong guy, they let him go, they grab another guy, and now they're that's from the last I heard, they don't know where this guy is. So how is it that somebody gets in that situation and nobody seems to be able to find them? Just like no one was able to find Trump, the people who shot Trump. I don't remember them getting caught.
I don't remember anybody saying that the shooter of Trump was caught or arrested.
So how is it that these guys they make a social media post, they'll show up at your door, or you go inside the Capitol, or you were on the grounds and they track you down, but they can't find the man that shot the president. They can't find the person that shot Charlie Kirk. I mean, it, how, right? How does that happen?
Really breaks my heart with the situation. What is the fact that um Charlie Kirk, like, despite the fact that people might not agree with everything he says, even if he was saying inflammatory things, even if you think that he's, even if you think he's a terrible person, even if you thought very bad things of him, and a lot of people are saying these things online, and it's really, really disgusting. But let's say you thought the worst things about him. Nobody deserves to be killed for their religious beliefs. Nobody deserves to be unjustly just executed, shot in the throat in front of their children. Like, and his wife, and now his children are fatherless. His wife is without the protection of her husband. His son will never grow up to know what it's like to have a father teaching him how to have the guidance to be a man. His daughter will never know the love of a father. Like, she won't remember. That's like the worst thing possible that you could do to somebody, and people are celebrating his death. Like, that's sick and twisted. Like, I can't even wrap my brain around somebody being okay with that. Everybody was talking about, oh, due process, due process. If you thought he was such a bad person, even if you thought he was a criminal, doesn't he at least deserve due process? And he's not been accused of any crimes. He's not like, he's a guy that went to a university to speak about his Christian beliefs, to teach children about God, and got shot in the neck. And you know what? The position they shot him in the neck, in the jugular, they wanted him to suffer. Whoever shot him wanted him to suffer. If they didn't want him to suffer, they would have shot him in the head. It would have been easier to shoot him in the head. I saw forensic scientists talking about how they pretty much like how like he pretty much died instantly and was brain dead because everyone was like, "Oh, why is he gripping the mic or whatever after he got shot?" And the forensic scientist said it was because like the brain went brain dead as soon as it got shot there. He pretty much died instantly, and especially all the blood coming out, it's cutting off the oxygen, pretty much like drowning your own blood, and your brain is being cut from oxygen while you're going brain dead. Like, it's extremely painful, probably way to die. That's terrible. And his little daughter, people are saying, his little daughter ran up to him, towards him in his direction after he got shot because the sound scared her. She looks like a toddler. She's gonna, like, I can't even imagine. I thought about that the other day and I cried. Like, I cried. Like, I could not get over that because I just thought to myself, aside from everything that I've been through, if it was me, if I was Erica, I would have a stroke. The people that I care about, I don't even have kids. I would not make it. The thing that bothers me is that people are going around saying that this is okay how many other Christian women, children, and men are going to be unlawfully just executed in public and taken out because of people's hurt feelings because they don't like that what Christians are talking about. How many people are going to suffer as a result of this? And it's like people are saying this is a political issue. It's not a political issue. This is a religious issue. We no longer can be safe in the West, in North America, the bastion of freedom, America, where they're supposed to be, where Christians come from all over the world and other people from other religions and sects of life or whatever come for asylum. They're coming to a country where you're going to be shot and murdered for your Christian beliefs. This is terrifying. Like, this is horrifying because women can't even walk in the street without the fear of being like stabbed or raped or hunted. The police are letting these people go. They're not doing enough to find them, but people who have no money online, who are impoverished, can go around hunting people down and finding them all over the country and mixing with other people to coordinate. But all the resources of the FBI and the government, federal and local and state level, cannot find this person who they're claiming is a mentally ill trans person. Then I guess we should all be mentally ill trans people because clearly they have higher capacity if the government can never find them.
The government doesn't want to find them.
No, because they don't care about Christians.
They don't care, yes.
And it's like all the good men that are doing stuff, that are actually doing dangerous work, what's going to happen? And who's going to do anything?
Well,
who's going to protect anybody when they're gone?
People don't realize that there's consequences for their actions. And a lot of the times, innocent people pay with their lives for those consequences. If you actually read your Bible, you will understand this. David's sin caused a lot of people to die. And this is what ends up happening. All these guys, we're going to go through this, but a lot of these guys that are flapping their lips and doing all these things, they're going to cause a lot of people to die. You're going to realize that real quick because judgments of God is coming. Don't worry. God's mercy is infinite, but his patience is not. And you're going to start seeing and understanding that because you're going to start seeing judgment fall upon those people who claim to call themselves Christians, but they're acting like they're not.
But you know what? A lot of people have blood on their hands because the good people who've been persecuted for the last couple of years, we know many in the UK, we know many in Canada and America, Christians, good Christians and citizens who've been persecuted for years, and nobody wanted to listen to them, nobody wanted to believe them. They were shut out and they were destroyed, and now stuff like this is happening.
Which is tragic. Anyway, let's get this another clip up.
My name is Charlie Kirk. I run the largest pro-American student organization in the country, Turning Point USA, fighting for the future of our republic. Speaking to you in my personal capacity tonight as a 26-year-old, I see the angst of young people as well as the challenges facing new parents. I am here tonight to tell you, to warn you, that this election is a decision between preserving America as we know it and eliminating everything that we love.
Kamala Harris or Tim Walz took questions. Maybe they have to answer for this, but they're okay with biological males competing in sports against females.
Yeah, which is, first of all, it's so unfair to the girls. Sometimes they've competed for their entire lives to reach the height of their particular sport.
My name is Charlie Kirk. I run the largest pro-American student organization in the country, Turning Point USA, fighting for the future of our republic.
Okay. I think a lot of people are not considering the fact, well, that was Charlie Kirk, I was talking about Katie Dance, but I think a lot of people are not considering the fact that Charlie Kirk has met a lot of people. Like, I've met Charlie Kirk in AmFest in Arizona just last year in December. I actually spoke to him uh when he was doing like the quick little interviews for like his show at the beginning, and we posted that clip or whatever, and I talked to him afterwards and got a photo with him. He's cool, and I checked out some of the vendors there and saw that there was actually Sabbath keepers there, giving books. But it's so messed up seeing somebody get shot like that when you've met them. Like, I didn't know him personally, but seeing him get shot like that and I met him, I'm like, that's traumatizing to a lot of people because you've had a direct in-person interaction with somebody and then you watch them die on live TV. It's like they know what that's going to do. The people who shot him, they know what that's going to do to the public. That's really like, and then the people they're using it for inciting more violence. It's like the whole thing, I don't know, the whole thing is just, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I know what you're saying. And a lot of people are celebrating it, and we'll pull up a clip here of one woman who does just that.
News: Charlie Kirk was in the neck. As of right now, I think his condition is unknown. And there are a lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people. So on behalf of everybody else, I don't know if he's gonna make a recovery or not. I don't know what his condition is. It like just happened as I'm filming this. I saw the video of it happening. I do not feel bad for him in the slightest, and I'm very, very much wondering what MAGA is going to react with. I wonder how they're going to make this about how black people shouldn't be allowed guns, or trans people. They're probably going to blame a trans black person. I don't fuck. But we can all celebrate because something really awful happened to a really, really awful guy. And again, if you're one of those dipshit people that are like, no matter what happens, you should never wish death on some... I'm going to cheer and dance and sing. Thank you very much.
This is unacceptable. I mean, it's unacceptable. And at the end of the day, there are a lot of people who do a lot of wrong things. I give a lot of people a lot of grace. A lot of these people that are flapping their lips, I give a lot of people way more grace, and I don't call for the death of people that are doing this nonsense. Right? And so when you come to God, God bears long. But I know that God's a man and he's a father. It's not going to bear much longer. And people, when they do the things that they're doing, God is going to act. There are people that I say on both sides that are doing it wrong. But the people who call themselves Christians, you got to keep in mind, God says judgment begins in the house of the Lord. Where do you think God is going to start first? He starts pouring out his wrath. It ain't going to be on the people who don't know God. It's going to be on the people who say they know God. Because the people who say they know God, they're the ones responsible for the other people acting that way because they're not letting their light shine. They're acting no different than them because this tribalism is nonsense.
I think people also don't understand the damage it does to a family when a wife is separated from her husband and a child is separated from their father. I don't know if many people actually understand how painful that is. No child deserves to go through that. I don't care how much you hate somebody, no child deserves to go through that. I went the last couple of years being separated from my dad and going through egregious evil, and nobody cared. And the only man that would care was forcibly separated from me and my sister. Suffering was insurmountable. That's what happens to children when their father is gone out of the picture or they're forcibly separated from them. Like, there's just nothing that can be done. They're more vulnerable to attack, to predators, to all sorts of things. His wife, like, imagine, she said she said to Charlie, "Thanks for being my love story," or something. Imagine God sends you your person that you're supposed to do God's work with, and that's the person you're supposed to spend your life with and have kids with, that you're supposed to build a family and soldiers for the kingdom with, and in an instant they're gone. I can't even imagine that. And you guys are celebrating. This is the devil, man. God is the essence of family and marriage. And this is what they want to destroy. And they're using that as an example for all the other Christians and what they're going to do and what they've been doing. And it's terrifying and horrific.
Yeah, it is. I mean, this is not. Nobody should be treating anybody in this kind of manner. And what people are doing is straight evil. And so we have to really start thinking about what we're doing. I'm gonna pull up another clip here of a guy that's talking about the shooter that he saw, and this is again why is the law enforcement not dealing with this properly?
This is crazy. So a video has surfaced that fully shows the shooter that was on the building running after having shot Charlie. So originally this video surfaced where these two guys noticed that there was something strange on the roof. I posted about this earlier where they actually saw him getting into position and crouching. And people weren't 100% sure that this was accurate just yet because there was no movement. This was right after the shooting. Everybody's ducking, but if you look closely, here you can see him actually running after firing. If you look closely at the beginning, you can even see him holding the rifle. Here's a better look at what we're talking about. It looks as though he might be throwing the weapon onto his back as he makes his escape. And here's a completely different angle of that we can see him laying on top of this roof right before he takes his shot. Now this is not a political event, so somebody being on the roof, not that it's common. It's just that Charlie doesn't have a team of Secret Service members looking out for something like this. To me, this is truly shocking footage, but what do you guys think about this?
Do you know what's awful about this? That men are actually saying as well that they don't even know what to do. Like, they don't know what the solution is. Like, Charlie Kirk had loads of money, but he doesn't have Secret Service money. He doesn't have Secret Service, like, status. What is the common man supposed to do when this happens? What is the average middle class or poor man supposed to do when they go around off and picking Christians off one by one and their children? What are they supposed to do? Is the money, even the rich people, is your money going to prevent you from being tortured? Is it going to prevent you from being unlawfully imprisoned? Is it going to prevent you from having your children stolen or your husband murdered in public in cold blood?
No, it ain't. No, it is not. And speaking of security, we're going to look at a little clip here, and they're talking about what Charlie Kirk's security was doing right before he got shot.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
So there is his security guard making these hand signals and so forth, and not paying attention to their subject. And that is a no-no if you are a security guard.
But remember when Trump got shot and how long it took for them to even go up to Trump?
Yes.
Like, this can't be, no one can tell me that this is a coincidence. And no one's going to tell me that some mentally ill transgender person did this, man. There's too many things going wrong here that just don't make sense.
Yeah.
That just, you can't tell me, people, and I'm sure this is happening this way so that people can make it something that it's not. like people want to push a completely different agenda and go sideways with this because if they can, then they can get away with just picking off Christians one by one. And then people will be looking at the wrong things and people are just looking at what's in front of their face. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You expect us to keep liberty as they're persecuting and killing Christians? That's crazy. Publicly on live TV. We were talking about this when this was happening to Trump. Trump was not even a self-proclaimed Christian. He acknowledged at least now God, thank God. And he acknowledges that God is the one who saved his life. But Charlie Kirk is a Protestant. He's a Sabbath keeper. He's a Christian. Through and through, he's a Christian. Like, his beliefs are Bible beliefs. So why are people not making the connection? Why are people trying to make this like, oh, this was political, oh, maybe this was Israel or whatever else? No matter who it was because he was a Christian. Not because he's white, not because he's Republican, because he's a Christian.
Yes. We're going to take a short commercial break and we'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to announce the next generation of energy drinks, Rev 7. It has no sugar and no caffeine. Instead, Rev 7 uses Go BHB. Go BHB is one of the body's primary ketones, and it provides the most efficient and clean fuel that your body needs. It also helps you stay energized all day with no crashes. Not only that, it produces 3 times more brain energy than sugar, which helps boost your memory, focus, and mental sharpness. It also helps reduce stress and helps balance your mood. Rev 7 does all that while being the best tasting energy drink ever. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% today. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7. For a limited time, you get our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. I drink Rev 7 every day and I absolutely love it, and so will you.
Yeah, so if anybody needs the MyPillow products, you can go to mypillow.com/Karis or call 800-845-2942 and use your promo code Karis. They got lots of good stuff there. I mean, the pillows and all that stuff. So go check it out, support a good cause, or you can support with the links in the description. There's a donor box that will come by right here shortly, which you're going to see coming in now. Or there's a Give, Send, Go. Help support the fight against human trafficking. We've got a lot of other links that you'll see in the description if you're watching on Rumble or Facebook and so forth. So support a good cause. And like at the end of the day, you look at the situation on what's going on, and this whole tribalism is going to break the entire country down. It's going to break the entire West down. And people don't realize how bad it is.
Yeah.
And so forth. And there's some people that seem on the other side that are giving more grace, and some of them are not. But people need to think about it. Christians should be the ones who give more grace, because a lot of the people that are acting this way and doing stupidity, a lot of people don't like Christians because of that. But let's listen to what this man has to say about what happened with Charlie Kirk. And he's not a fan of him either.
Okay, so they want me to talk about this boy, Charlie Kirk, who got shot in Utah. Him getting shot in Utah makes him, I believe, American number 18,533 who got shot in the U.S. this year, shot and killed. And I think that there were 3 more people who were killed, shot and killed in Colorado, just over the mountains, within hours of his shooting. And all the flags in America are going to fly half-mast, not for those 18,335 other victims, but they're going to fly half-mast for Charlie Kirk. That's just an observation. You can do with it what you will. I'll be honest, when I first heard that he had been shot, I made a joke about it on X. Because frankly, I'm just as used to theatrics coming out of America as I am used to gun violence coming out of America, and I thought that theatrics seemed more likely in this case. But when I did learn that he died, I deleted my post. I deleted it out of respect, not for him, but for the severity and for the solemnity of the judgment that he has now proceeded to. Because everything that he ever said and everything that he ever did that harmed anyone, well, he's going to answer for that. He's going to answer for that right now in his meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the heaviness of that meeting is disturbing to any of us who believe in it. But we'll talk about it. Let's start with the obvious, okay? First, I'm not going to feign grief or feign mourning for this person. I know that's a hypocrisy that social etiquette demands at a moment like this, but we all know that he would certainly not grieve for us. He certainly would not mourn for us, just as he never grieved and he never mourned for the wanton slaughter of the Palestinians in Gaza. He never grieved for that. But let me also be crystal clear about this. It doesn't make me happy either. I neither mourn nor celebrate. Neither of those reactions is appropriate, in my opinion. Whoever pulled that trigger didn't do it for me and they didn't do it for you. I don't even see them as being on two different sides. They didn't silence Charlie Kirk. They amplified Charlie Kirk. The power structure never cared about that boy. They used him. And he's more useful to them now than he was the day before. He's more useful to them dead than he was alive. Listen, you don't defeat someone like this, someone like a Charlie Kirk, a tool like him, by letting that tool mold you into exactly what they want you to be. That killer didn't deliver justice. If you think they did, he didn't. He delivered to the power structure an even more enhanced weapon. He made a mediocre, but dangerous and polarizing figure, Charlie Kirk, into now an impeachable icon for the very fan base that he most likely despises. And he made criticism of Charlie Kirk's ideas. Now it's disrespect for the dead. This is not resistance. This is a gift. This is a gift to the very security state that he probably thought he was attacking. No, it's stupidity. They're spinning the narrative now. They're going to label him as a martyr for free speech, a victim of left-wing extremism. And they're going to use his death. They're going to use it to demand more surveillance, more censorship, more policing, more militarization of the police against their opponents. You know, more police powers. They're going to use his blood to sanitize his ideology and to legitimize every poisonous thing that he ever said. And some of you are out here cheering about what happened. Why, you're fools. Why, when you celebrate, all you do is elevate and strengthen their narrative. Charlie Kirk was not an outlier. He was a product. He was the logical output of a system that's designed to generate exactly what he was. Like I said, he didn't create the demand. The demand was already there. He just exploited it. He sold a fantasy, like I say, a fantasy where all of the problems of modern America, economic decay, economic despair, cultural displacement, and cultural unrest, political powerlessness, these are all not the inevitable results of late-stage capitalism and a dying empire. No, it's all the fault of immigrants. It's all the fault of minorities, of wokeism, some internal enemy that's not in power. Well, now he's been killed, and his death is going to be used to service that same system.
Now, while I don't agree with everything the man said, he did raise some serious points. The guy who shot Charlie Kirk is going to make a martyr of him. He was right bang on that. So, killing a person publicly is always not a good idea. Which makes me think that this was not a lone shooter. Because, I mean, you might have wanted to take revenge, but doing it publicly in that manner is it was calculated.
Yeah, that wasn't passion. That wasn't like a random passionate moment, like in the moment passion. That was a thought out, premeditated.
They
like,
they timed it for when he said those words and shot him.
Yes.
As they were talking about gun violence.
Yes, and it's like, so how did they know? How did they know the person was even going to ask that question is my question. Were the people told to ask certain questions and then they shot him?
Well, there were people that were boasting on
TikTok
the day before saying, well, he's going to get something when he comes here. Something to that effect or whatever else like that. So there was people bragging, some people probably knew. Who knows?
Who knows? And then there was a book that I saw that was circulating on X talking about the shooting of Charlie Kirk, but it was for the day before. It was published the day before he got shot. Why is that lady not under investigation? Whoever wrote that book or man or whatever. This is weird, man.
Yeah,
this is weird.
There's a lot of things that need to be looked at. But they're going to be pushing a lot of things down people's throats to just amplify the violence.
Yeah.
Let's go and look at this. There's somebody commenting about what a teacher had to say about Charlie Kirk and so forth. So let's listen to this woman.
So I have high schoolers that were in school today when they found out about Charlie Kirk's assassination. And when the class found out, the majority of the students started cheering. And then the teacher said, well, he was kind of a bad guy. I am so angry right now. No teacher should be pushing that type of hate in a classroom. Sitting in a classroom and you are listening to your students cheering when somebody was murdered. In a government class, by the way. And that's your message? That is the problem we have here in America. And that is the problem that we have in the school system. I've had issues with this teacher prior to this, and I've bit my tongue because she's one of my daughter's favorite teachers, and I didn't want to cause any problems for her. But I need to let my feelings subside, and then I need to decide what I'm going to do, but this is not okay. And that is not what we should be saying to children. The conversation should have been, we don't all have to agree, and you don't have to like what he says, but you should never celebrate somebody's murder because they think differently than you. We no longer live in a society where we can have political conversations and still respect others' views. We are dealing with a radicalization that is so beyond hateful, and it has to stop. This could have been a great teaching moment for a government teacher. Do your research and get grounded in your views so that you know how to debate the things that you stand for. Because being able to coexist with people that don't align with you politically is a necessity in society, and it makes for good governance. I'm hoping tomorrow I have some more clarity on how to approach this situation, but it needs to be addressed.
This shows you the depravity of the human mind. And I watch people on both sides do this, demonize people.
Yep.
And celebrate at their misery. And this is satanic. I don't care what anybody says. You can't glorify and joy in someone else's death. Because death is a serious thing. A lot of people, they've never been faced with any consequences like that in their life, so they have no idea. This is so ungodly and appalling. This is the type of stuff that God cannot stand. And when people who don't know God do it, that's bad. But when people who know God do it, it's infinitely worse because it makes people hate God and it will send people to hell.
Yeah.
But then there's the people that believe that it doesn't matter what you do, God is going to take you or not take you. And that sucks to suck for everyone else. I see some of the worst things that Christians have done by people who've done that. And I've seen, and they actually, some of them, that I've watched them, they delight in other people's suffering.
Yes, they do.
And I watch the look on their faces. It's like they're almost getting off when they're watching people in pain and suffering in bad situations. That is sick, twisted to no end. I'm telling you, I don't care what you think you say. If that is the way that you're reacting when someone is suffering, you're not on your way to heaven.
No.
You do not know God, because God takes no joy in the death of the wicked. He wants it all come to him in repentance.
It's crazy. Nobody is calling for the public execution of Fauci. These people who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Fauci and Bill Gates killed millions of people the last couple of years. Same with Klaus Schwab, all of these people. Obama's responsible for the death of millions. Who on the left is saying kill them? I'm not even saying to do that. They have to go through due process. I hope they get the highest extent of the law after due process. But not what they did to Charlie Kirk even. But they're like, I don't like this guy, so he deserves this. His family deserves this. But people who are responsible for killing millions, including probably people in their family, oh, well, we just didn't know. Trust the science. Come on, man. Be so for real.
There's a lot of murder going on, and it's not good. It is not good, right? Like, at the end of the day, people need to do do the right thing. A man is dead. He's never going to see his family. He's never going to see his children. I mean, his never, wife is never going to see him again, right? Until Jesus comes. And that's really all there is to it. Like, it's a tragedy. I don't agree with everything he said.
No.
I don't.
Yeah.
But do I think I want to wish death on him? No. I've never met a person that I've agreed with 100% of things he said. Never. So do I want them dead? No. There are people who've done wicked things to me and my family, and I don't wish death on them. And this is the thing. People talk about all these kinds of things and ever say they have all these preparations, but you know what? Crisis does not refine your character, it reveals it. When you watch what's going on, you really begin to see the character of men, because your character isn't determined by how you treat the people who treat you well. It's how you deal with the people who don't treat you well. Because Jesus says, well, the publicans, the worldlings, they love the ones who treat them well. And he goes, well, if you do the same, what different are you from them? God says to love your enemies and bless them and curse them. Because he knows the resentment you carry for your enemies is going to destroy you. When I watch people here and the way they're going out and doing things, they are weak and they are getting destroyed. I'll pull up another clip here of somebody else. Like, I mean, the joy people are taking in someone's demise, it's really disgusting.
Yeah, it is.
It's really disgusting. It is so. It shows you how depraved humanity has become, and people need Jesus. That's all I gotta say. People need Jesus. You're gonna listen to this woman talk about what's going on.
Charlie Kirk has died because of gun violence, and only seconds before he got shot and killed, he was talking about shootings. In fact, he was condemning trans people literally seconds before getting shot. He has been quoted for repeatedly saying that he is okay with people getting shot as long as we retain the Second Amendment. But he made it crystal clear right before he died that too many trans people have been responsible for shootings, even though it is less than 0.1% of all shootings. So even at his very end, he is focused on the wrong issue. And it is, of course, tragic for his family. And the way that he died is insurmountably painful. But how ironic that this man stood for the very thing that ended his life.
Actually, the last words he said was gang violence.
Yes.
Not trans. He said gang violence.
Yes. And this is the thing. A lot of people have to start, like, I mean, yeah, you don't like what he said. He shouldn't have been murdered. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah.
Right? There's just no other way to put it.
There's no way to justify that.
No,
There's no way to justify killing somebody, let alone like that. There's no way to justify that.
Sure, you can say he's divisive. Sure. But is he worthy of killing? No. Right? Like, I mean, there's people are not going to, that's stuff he talks about. It was a hot button issue, and a lot of people don't like it. Right? That's just, look at the country. You talk about certain things, and you're going to piss people off. It's just the way it is.
You know what? I don't agree with everything that Charlie Kirk said, but when I was going to Oral Roberts University, someone from TPUSA reached out to me and asked me if I could try and open a chapter at ORU because they had so much problems trying to get TPUSA there. Once I started trying to do it, I could see why. But despite the fact that I don't even agree with everything that he says or does, I was like, you know what? There's something good in what he's doing overall. I need to work with people who are actually trying to work towards the same goals as you. People need to put their feelings aside and stop. Like, honestly, there's no justification for any of this.
No, there's not. We're gonna listen to another woman come out and talk about her pleasure in a man's demise, and women are especially offensive for this.
The feminists.
Yes.
Oh shit, this nigga dead, y'all. Oh no, when this happened, niggas dying that ain't never died before. Jesus, why ain't nobody tell his dumb ass to die? The fuck going on? Can't believe this. Did he have insurance? Goddamn, now we gotta make a GoFundMe, cause his broke ass ain't have no money. This nigga was too broke to die. Why you leave us?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, that I don't care what anybody says. That's straight up uncalled for. Like, I don't even care. That is just evil. Evil. Evil to go out and do.
The background music is diabolical.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And then we're gonna listen to this next guy. And this guy, I mean, just watch it.
We got Charlie in the neck. We got Charlie in the neck. Who's up next? We got Charlie in the neck. We got Charlie in the neck. We got Charlie in the neck. Who's up next? We got Charlie in the neck.
That makes me nervous.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. I'm like, these are the people walking the streets?
Yes.
We're cooked. That's not even funny, but we're cooked.
This is on sad to say it, this is a large portion of the people that you're seeing getting platforms.
Yes.
To speak on both sides.
Yes.
Are this depraved and have no respect for human life whatsoever. They claim to, but they will even destroy their own because of their stupidity and their bias and their hatred. Because people don't realize what they're doing. They don't. And it's like when I watch people like this, it is like watching drug addicts of the worst kind. That when they see the object of their fix, they see their fix, that everything else doesn't matter. The world will burn down. They'll just sit down and get their fix. And this is what these people are like. Because this is the only thing that's going to fix that is Jesus. There's nothing any human being can do to fix that type of mentality outside of Jesus. Nothing.
And you know what? Everyone's saying, like, I understand what people are saying, like, oh, you know, the video is too gory and it's too much. But you know what? All that's censorship. I understand the family. I understand. Believe me. But at this point, that would be censorship of the truth, because people need to see. Christians need to see. They need to know exactly what's going on. They need to know what these people, these sick people, are trying to do to Christians and their families. They need to wake up and understand just how bad things are and what's actually going on. The last couple of years, a lot of the reason that people made the mistakes they did is because the videos and the evidence, pictures or information was cut off from the public at large. They were not able to see what actually happened, and then they didn't believe it because it just came to their ears like, oh no, there's no way. There's no way. People need to see. We're at a point in time where people need to see the truth. They need to know what's going on. I don't like the video. I can't stand that I even had to see that video. But at the same time, people need to know what's going on, because this can't continue. And unless people know what's going on, it's going to continue. If people don't understand what's happening with the Christians, it's going to continue.
Yeah, I'm just gonna bring on just here on the next little thing here, just because before we close on this segment, it's The Simpsons. Let's just see what they had to say.
Simpsons predicted the tragic Charlie Kirk incident years ago. The episode opens with a university quad packed with students. Banners flap in the wind. A stage is set up under bright floodlights. A political activist steps to the podium. The crowd cheers. Phones rise into the air to capture the moment. Suddenly, a muzzle flash bursts from the balcony. The microphone screeches. The activist collapses onto the stage. Gasps turn into screams. Students dive for cover. Books and signs scatter across the grass. Chairs topple in waves as the crowd surges. Security rushes forward, shielding the stage. Some freeze in shock. Others drag the wounded away. The crowd tramples fences trying to escape. Shoes and backpacks are left abandoned in the rush. Police swarm the field with sirens blaring. Reporters shout over one another, shoving microphones toward anyone who will speak. An ambulance backs up to the stage. Paramedics kneel in the floodlights, working frantically. A stretcher rolls through the barricades. Back at the Simpson house, Marge clutches Maggie, shaken.
I can't believe this is happening in America.
By morning, the stage is abandoned. Candles line the campus steps. Flowers pile beneath the torn banner. Handwritten notes cover the walls. Students sit in silence, holding one another. Follow for more Simpsons predictions like this.
Just had to put it in there as a little something, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this whole thing is tragic. Like, a man is dead.
Yeah.
And that's really it. Like, he's done. I mean, the only thing that's left for him is judgment, right? And, only God knows. Because I don't know. Only God knows what that verdict is, right? People say he's a Christian and so forth. I don't know how he lived behind closed doors. I only see what I mean. Like, I don't know. So it is what it is. Hope he goes, judgment works out in his favor. Because if it doesn't, then it's bad, right? But from people saying he's a man of faith, I'll accept that because I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
And so, at the end of the day, regardless of whatever he said he was, he did publicly talk about his faith consistently. So it is about a Christian, right?
And he did say that he was in the process of writing a book about the Sabbath and the importance of all Christians keeping the Sabbath. The biblical Sabbath, Saturday as the Sabbath. So, there's a lot of things there.
He's not a perfect man. None of us are. So, I mean, at the end of the day,
yeah,
we leave it at that. And so, the biggest thing is nobody should be cheering his death.
No.
Nobody should be cheering anybody's death. I don't care who it is. Don't cheer people's death. Just because you're angry at somebody, you're angry at people, you don't cheer somebody's death. Right? I'm going to close here with a prayer, and we'll come back after the break. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. I thank you for your love, grace, and mercy. And Father, I lift up this day the people that are suffering, and Charlie Kirk's wife and his family who now left without a father and a husband. And Lord, watch over all the people that are in this situation and the people in the country that are losing their minds and that they're pushing for war and all of these things. Lord, I ask of you this day to calm people's hearts and minds and give them the fortitude and the presence of mind to see what is right and pleasing in your sight, and send your Holy Spirit upon the people, Lord, and restrain the wickedness that wants to rip apart this world and cause a lot of destruction, and help the men and the women to come together to rebuild their families, their churches, and their nation. Lord, so the children can have some protection is my prayer. In Jesus'
name. Amen. Thanks, Dad, for the prayers always. Guys, please, my heart goes out to Charlie Kirk. May he rest in peace, obviously, and his wife, please, Jesus, please pray for his wife, Erica, and his children. Please support them and give your love, because this is the worst thing imaginable. This is anyone's worst nightmare by far. We can't be celebrating the death. Anyways, guys, check us in the stay tuned for part 2. We'll catch you in the next one. And to my dearest Karis, until we meet again, and then we will.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second half of this episode. We're going to continue to go in and start talking about a few things. We've got a couple of clips that we're going to talk about. I guess we're going to, excuse me, let's start off with Nick Fuentes. Because Nick, he decided to take the day off yesterday and then come back on today. And he talked about what was going on with Charlie Kirk. So we're going to pull up a little bit of a clip here and listen to what he had to say.
What happened yesterday is still so raw and so sensitive. The country is profoundly affected, at least some of it is. We'll talk about that too. And so tonight I'm going to try to the best of my ability, carry out my responsibility. I believe, and I think you know, that I'm somebody that many of the young people, young conservatives are looking up to. I have a lot of credibility with the far right, the radical right. And throughout his career, Charlie Kirk always characterized me as a troll. I don't say that with any malice at this point in time, but that's what he said. And many in Turning Point USA said that I and my followers are nihilistic. We only want destruction. And I think that I have an obligation to the country. I think I have an obligation to God. I think I have an obligation to all of you. I think I have responsibility to prove that that is not true. That's not about me. But now that it is the morning after, the day has dawned where Charlie Kirk is now dead at the hands of some unknown attacker. It is our responsibility, mine and all of ours, to step up and to get serious. To the extent that politics was fun or we took it lightly, I think we now realize it just got very real. It's been real. People talk about a civil war. They say a war is coming. Some say we're already in one. We have an obligation now. The leaders, the spokesmen, the men, the young men, the elderly men, we have an obligation to lead.
Those are good words and strong words, and so forth. And so, yes, you do have an obligation to lead, and and to make things right and show that you're not there on for death and destruction. I'm going to pull up something of some of Nick's associates, and here, let me pull up some pictures here. Okay. Let's go back to the first one. This is a dude named Grayson, and that's Nick Fuentes with him. Grayson's one of the guys that kind of hunted my daughter down across the United States with that nurse Lisa that was connected to the people who beat, drugged, and raped my daughter. And
Held guns at me.
yes, and then the other guy who raped her, and then a bunch of people who were assaulting her, and all of these people are connected. But that guy Grayson was connected to that nurse that was chasing everybody down.
Grayson.
And there it is with Nick Fuentes. Then there's some people there again with Nick Fuentes, and the guy in the foreground, Ryan Sanchez. He is also there. You can see they're all associates of each other. And then you can see these guys here.
And on the far left, that's Danny LaValle. And behind him is Kevin Undercover or whatever. And on the far right, that's Grayson. They live with Ryan Sanchez, or at least two of them do. And they were all at the house. They invited me there to go live streaming with them and live stream, and then also do a live stream like at the house. And Danny on the far left, he was the camera guy. I guess Kyle undercover in the back, he claims to be more closely friends with Nick Fuentes, and then you saw Grayson there with the photos with Nick, with everybody.
And then there's the last two of those guys there together.
Yeah, Kyle and Ryan Sanchez.
All right, so yeah, these guys are associated with each other. They're sitting down having meals together. They know each other, right? And so now we're gonna go and we're going to pull up a couple of clips here now, and we will go with this one. This is Ryan Sanchez with my daughter, and previously they had her and they did. There's two parts to this stream. In one section, the room was completely red, and this is a clip. And watch what happens while she's there.
Okay, well, we got to get you in frame then.
This is good. That's perfect right there.
Barely see. Okay, there you go. All right. He's our security. So
Better seen and not heard.
this Keisha girl is kind of crazy. So we got to make sure that she doesn't go off the chain, go flying into a frenzy.
Oh, come on, guys. I'm harmless.
You don't look
I don't know.
I'm literally like...
Literally.
I radicalize a lot of people. Are you saying that I run terrorist organizations?
We didn't say that. We didn't say that. I mean,
You said radicalize a lot of people. That's usually what they use to describe terrorists.
I don't know.
Are you JD Vance Maxing?
What's that mean?
Get her back in chains is crazy.
That's not what I meant. We were talking. Okay, so we were talking about the migrant protests across the pond. Exactly. Can I get a Kamala check right now?
No, it's Indian with a feather, not Indian with a dot.
She will be our Kamala.
Except
This
not
is
at all.
the Democrats are not ready for this. They won't know what to do. Anyways, so Rooster, what are your thoughts of the situation? I know some American voices have been like everyone from Alex Jones to Nick Fuentes to just a lot of people that I'm seeing on Twitter have been essentially being pessimistic about the protests. They've been saying that it's all to the interests of Zionism in Israel, and that this is simply going to hurt the English nationalists in the long run. What do you think about that?
Well, in what way are they saying that it's going to hurt? Like, what is the argument here? That because they're allegedly doing things like burning down places with, associated with migrants and whatnot, or doing whatever that they're doing, that in turn makes them look like the bad guys, so then that will make the nationalists look bad? Is that like what exactly is the argument that they're making?
I think the argument is that this is like people are going, oh, the timing's interesting when Israel's trying to gin up support for a war with Iran. Okay. So, well, why don't I pull up like?
So what they're saying is that like, this gives more of a bridge for there to be to make Israel and Zionists and people like that look like good guys, because their quote unquote enemies are also Muslims, bad Muslims.
Stink Groper sent $5. Turn stream black and white for new vintage Lindy Book drama.
Man, are you enough of a businessman to appreciate
You're not a fan of the colors. We have all these beautiful color lights in here.
I'll raise it to
you want to just make it black and white,
friend,
huh?
you could make it $1,000,000 francs at 3.
Oh, this is
My
Casablanca,
answer would still
right?
be the same.
Have
There
you
must
seen
be
that
some
movie?
reason why you won't let me have them. There is.
I think this.
I suggest that you ask your wife. I beg your pardon? I said, ask your wife. My wife? Yes.
So you see that they're sitting down and having a conversation, and there's a guy sitting down there with a mask on, with his arms crossed in a very, it doesn't look, his body language isn't very good. And you have a small girl there with people that she does not know very well in there. Imagine if those were two black men and it was a white woman that was in, white girl that was in there. People would be going ballistic.
Well, another huge white guy came with a
Don't
mask.
worry, we'll see that.
And I wasn't even told that people were gonna show up in masks and join the stream. I thought it was me and Ryan, and then these people just showed up, and I was like, oh, okay. I don't know what's going on. And yeah, nobody cares because I'm
That's
Native
a
and black.
you do that to a father's daughter, and that's usually how people get hurt. Right? Like that's unacceptable, and I don't care what anybody says. Because if you sit down and think that that's acceptable, let your daughter go and somebody, your white person, let your daughter go in with two thuggy looking black guys that go in there and have their face covered like that, and you're gonna sit down and say something. I don't care what you think. Those guys there and what they did after this, it is way off base. That is insane.
And all of them talked to me about like what happened to me, and I told them what happened, like to their face, like Grayson, the Kyle guy, Danny Lavallee, Ryan. We had like a stream about it, like Danny and Ryan. But I talked to the other guys, even the guys in the mask. Later, I ended up telling what happened, because they were asking. Everybody seemed to be interrogating me, and Ryan at some point was like, "Oh, well, if you want to like move into like the shed out there and we can like do podcasts, then like that's cool." He even said that he would pay me for the money that he made on the stream with me, and he didn't. And I was like, I'm not gonna live in your shed. Like what? So the whole thing was weird. And then after that, they just went after me online relentlessly with the people who tried to kill me and did
some
rape
of
me.
them convicted pedophiles.
Yes.
These people were working with convicted pedophiles.
Yeah, groypers
The convicted pedophiles. Right?
working with the groypers were working with the convicted pedophiles.
Those guys there that you see there, that Grayson guy that was in he was one of the biggest ones.
And if they said that I was illegal and I was a Mexican, when I was at their house all those hours streaming, why didn't they call ICE on me? Why didn't they call the police? Why did they invite me back multiple times for a podcast and talk to me for hours? And the thing is, I went to an event in Arizona, and that's how I saw Ryan. And Ryan was like, "Oh, I follow you online." And then he was like, "Oh, we should do like a stream or something." And I was like, "Okay, sure, whatever." And I didn't know who the guy was until he pointed out the fact that he followed me online. And I was like, "Okay, well, cool. Young conservatives, Christians." No.
They're not Christian.
No.
Those are not actions as Christians. Especially when knowing what was going on.
Yeah.
That they're working with people and knowing full well what the evidence that was brought forward, and that there was engineering report, and one of those guys was in the military.
Yeah, he's a Marine.
And understands what was going on. That man is just, he is a traitor to his country, and I'll say it like it is. He is a traitor to his country, and he is the scum of the earth. I don't care what his skin color is. He is persecuting Christians.
And you know what? While we did the live stream walking around, we passed police many times in the street because there was like some event that night near a university or whatever. I think we're in like Phoenix. And if they thought I was illegal, why didn't they walk me up to the police on stream and say, "This isn't illegal, we're handing her over"? They had many opportunities to try and call ICE on me or the police, and they didn't.
Keep in mind that natives in Canada, they make up 5% of the population. 50% of the women traffic and 51% of the kids traffic. And it's also very much so like that in the United States. Natives are trafficked at a far higher rate than everyone else. And Métis are included in that. So I don't care what anybody has to say. That is a statistic that nobody wants to talk about. People want to talk about Christians and this and that. How is it you're a father and you're watching people do all this kind of stuff to your daughter? I serve God. And everyone wants to smear my name, and people want to believe it because I'm black and they got black fatigue and all that kind of stuff, while people are doing all manner of evil to my daughter, and they're sitting down and coming there holier than thou and saying that I believe in God and Christian. No, you don't. Your actions tell you otherwise. Because Jesus said you'll know them by your fruits. What are your fruits? Your actions, the fruit of the Spirit. Those are all things that you can observe in people. Now let's look at the next section here.
I can hear you very well. Could you guys switch seats just for this segment at least, so he can, because he's talking. Sorry. Yeah. All right. Music is too low. Well, people are saying the mic is too low. Now they're saying the music is too low. It's just. How about you turn your audio on? So you really got to project your voice. You know, there's like a mouse. Alright, what were you saying?
Okay, so having already gone over what the theoretical argument that these people are making is, my point was, it seems like often our people are always in a sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, where okay, so this all happened because, as I understand, was it actually a migrant that stabbed these girls? I've heard that it was
He was the son of migrants from Rwanda.
Okay, so
But he was born there.
Right. Okay, so was he a Muslim?
No, he was a Christian.
Okay, so how did this? What did the Muslims have to? Is it just then we're just angry at?
So yeah, like
that's just what it is.
The rumors going around were that it was like something to do with Islam, because it did seem like a terror attack. We don't know what the motive was, but everyone assumed, you know, it's an immigrant guy stabbing people. That it was just the tension was already there,
right,
and people were trying to make it into like a religious thing, but it's, you know, obviously more complex than that.
Right.
But the way I look at it is, this was anger that has been bubbling up. It's been persisting in English society for decades, because the people have voted for Brexit. They voted for the UKIP. They voted for Reform Party. They never were asked about multiculturalism. There never was. All right, send them in. They never had a vote on it. So
no, you're absolutely correct.
So like what else are they supposed to do? This anger was these protests exploded because the anger has been there, and they've been left no other recourse. So I don't know what they're supposed to do.
So that's kind of what I was getting at, is that it seems like if they were to do nothing, right? So these children were stabbed, they were killed. If England or English society just did absolutely nothing, then everyone would be saying, "Oh, you guys are a bunch of cocks,
Yeah,
and you
cock
guys are
island.
this, and why don't you do anything, and this and that." And then it's like, okay, fair enough. So then now a bunch of people are doing something, and it's like, well, why are you doing that? Now you're just doing this for Israel, or you're just doing this. And I can understand, like, I think that the reality is that the people in power are going to take any situation and utilize it to their benefit however they can. That's just like, so does that mean that, okay, then nobody should ever do anything then? I mean, so like, where's the balance there? So should they have just done nothing? And obviously I'm not condoning any violence or anything like that, but it seems like no matter what, it's our people, they're always doing the quote-unquote wrong thing, so to speak. Or at least that's how there's always somebody who wants to naysay everything no matter what. If they didn't do anything, then you guys are a bunch of cowards. If they do something, oh, well, you're doing it, but it's for the wrong reasons, or the wrong people are going to obtain something or other, or whatever the case may be.
Hey, come on in. What's up, man? Unk?
Yeah.
What's up?
Jihadi Chris.
We got our super soldiers. Let's go.
What up, bro?
This is Keisha Richardson.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Your name?
Chris.
Chris?
Call me Uncle Chris.
Unk.
That's right.
So a second masked man comes in that she doesn't know. How you think if you're a small girl, you'd be trafficked and you'd be put in bad situations? What are you gonna think? And when people were sitting down on the stream watching what was going on, people were like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah, some of the comments were like, "What the hell are you doing? What are you guys doing?" And they were like, "Bring the girl back to the front of the screen right now." Like, the people in the chat were like, "What the actual hell?" And when I was talking before all these people came, they were like, "This girl is actually curing my racism." They were like, "She's actually so based and like so decent, like she's curing my racism." They were like, "I can't believe the things that she's actually saying." When they did this, the people were freaking out in the chat.
I remember when Morgan Ariel was talking about the stuff with Nick Fuentes and saying that he can't control his followers. These guys are people he's associated with.
Personally, yeah.
And they work with pedophiles. And I know this because one of the women in Colorado is a convicted pedophile. And they are working with a convicted pedophile.
To hunt me down.
Yes, they would take the word of a convicted pedophile over a Christian. Get that through your head. You see how Charlie Kirk, nobody can find out what was going on with him? Why do you think that is? Why do you think they couldn't find the shooter?
And they're catching and releasing the guy who pulled a gun on me, one of the traffickers who was raping and drugging me. They arrested him, said that he had extensive criminal history. They even wrote affidavits saying they know he did it, and then they just let him go.
Well, that woman was running around saying that she's making a bunch of false complaints. No, she actually went in and made reports.
Yeah.
But they didn't file them. They didn't notarize them. They didn't send them across Canada. Put out the evidence online. And all this stuff that I went in to go and make complaints, the same thing happened over and over again. Why? Because when I came forward, because they said that they thought I was crazy because what? Because my Christian belief says don't love your brother yourself and thou shalt not kill, and I'm not going to do something that's going to kill people.
And you know what? Everyone thinks that the people that I've been supporting online is because I have fond feelings of affection for them, because I really like them, or I support everything they do. No, it's because I could see that things like what happened to Charlie Kirk was going to happen because of what happened to me. But because nobody cared about all the Christians across the board, not just me, but all of them that was being persecuted, and just flipped them to the side. "Oh, you're crazy," and blah, blah, blah. Now we're dealing with this.
There's a lot of people that need to do a lot of repenting. A lot of people that need to turn their course. Because I'll tell you right now, a lot of those people that are going there and acting sanctimonious in front of people,
yeah,
that are doing
liars.
all of this kind of wickedness, go try and step in the light and see if God will protect you. He ain't going to protect you. You will not get the protection from God. I guarantee you. You keep going with sin in your heart and wickedness, God will not protect you. Not at all. Charlie Kirk is a Christian and he got shot. He was martyred. You ain't gonna get anywhere near as far as he did.
Not at all.
That's really all there is to it. That's why a lot of these guys are cowards, because they know they don't got God's protection.
Yeah. And they know about situations like what happened with me and other people like me, and they're too much of a coward to even actually directly talk about it. And then they want to go around acting like they care about other people. You're a liar. I don't believe you.
They don't care about anybody.
They don't care about anybody. They care about their pockets.
They don't even care about their own people, because they would rather them get poisoned to satisfy their racism, and they're useless. Useless.
And when my information was shared, people came after me relentlessly. Women and maybe liberal people, I don't know, but like people hunted me down even worse and went out of their way to destroy me online and in person, gathered together to grab me in person, all sorts of stuff.
We had less interaction with people on the left than people on the right.
Oh, yeah.
Most of this were done by people who claimed themselves
Yeah.
to be Christian.
Yes.
Most of this.
Fake Christians.
Exactly. The kind of people that makes people hate Christians and gets people killed.
If I didn't have a father and I didn't know God, like because of the love of my father that I've received my whole life, I would hate every single person that has interacted with me, because most of the people that have interacted with me have tried to do something extremely evil. Even the people who have like shared my stuff were too much of cowards to really do anything to help. And then there's people like Irina Zarutska who got stabbed in the neck. Egregious. It was disgusting what happened to her too. All the support she got because she's white. But when people came to grab me with machetes, when I was attacked by pit bulls, they're like, "Oh, well, you didn't get deported. Stop crying about it."
People sit down and talk about black fatigue, and they're doing this to my daughter, and they're leaving my other daughter in that situation because they hate black people so much. I don't want to hear a damn thing, because I don't give a damn, because you see what I'm doing here, and I don't hate white people. I don't go on and do those things. I had to watch these people as doing all these kinds of things, people raping my daughter, people trying to murder my daughter, leaving my little daughter around pedophiles, and I don't hate white people. You know what the difference is between me and you? It's called Jesus. Because I give myself to Jesus because I don't want to be like you, because that is what people are like when they don't know Jesus. And so I need Jesus to keep me from being myself. Because if I didn't serve Jesus, this would be very different. But I serve God. And I love God for that. Nothing that anybody's going to do is going to make me turn away from God, no matter how much wickedness you do, because I see what this is like, and I don't want to be like that. I know where God took me from, and too bad for you. You're going to kill me first, because it ain't going to happen. I'm never going to give up never going to turn away from God, no matter what you do. Right? Doesn't matter. The more you come after me, the more I'm going to go to God. That's all the way it is. It ain't never going to change. We're going to take a short break. Go ahead, say it quickly.
I was just going to say, and the amount of people that watched me get passed around publicly from person to person and being sexually abused and beaten and all sorts of stuff. And I was screaming for help. I was alone in the States for 5 years. And I was begging for help and doing everything that I could, going to different events to connect with people, to actually help them with the evidence and the information that we were bringing forward that was going to be a benefit to them. And nobody saw value in my life as a human being. Not a single person. Not a single person.
Yes, and we can all connect them to Special Agent Paul Durant out of the Johnsonville, Tennessee office.
Yeah,
working
the
with
FBI.
a dirty Fed. And then connect them to the RCMP here in Canada. We'll be back after this.
Hello friends, my name is Keisha and I'm a proud member of the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan. And I'm also a survivor of human trafficking. My trafficking began in Saskatchewan, moved into Alberta, and even crossed into the United States. I was stalked, hunted, and ignored by the very systems over the last 5 years that were meant to protect me. This is why, with my father Dale Richardson, we started the Caris Project. This is an Indigenous, survivor-led movement for humanity dedicated to exposing trafficking, government corruption, and holding institutions accountable. One of the most powerful tools that we are using is the petitions for redress of grievances. These are lawful constitutional actions rooted in Canadian and US law, and in treaties that tie us together across provinces, across states, and even across borders. These petitions are precedent-setting. They create a binding record. They demand accountability while representing reconciliation in action. Indigenous and non-Indigenous people working side by side to preserve liberty for all. But we cannot do this alone. We need your help to keep this movement alive. to raise awareness and to build a legacy of justice for Indigenous women, for trafficking survivors, and for families everywhere. Thank you. Please stand with us. Your support makes this work possible. Together we can restore justice, heal families, and defend freedom. And I will close with my favorite quote. The greatest want of the world is the want of men. Men who cannot be bought or sold. Men who in their inmost souls are true and honest. Men who do not fear to call sin by its right name. Men whose conscience is as true to duty as the needle to the pole. And men who will stand for the right, though the heavens may fall. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put this up here quickly so that people can see. Let me it's up here.
And
Go ahead, talk.
by the way, the stream, like that stream that I did with those guys, that was on Nick Fuentes' platform on Cozy TV. And while we were in there, they were like, oh, should we get Nick Fuentes to come in here? Like, should we tell Nick Fuentes to join the stream? Because, like, they knew that those guys knew Nick. And it's in the chat. And
Go ahead.
And also, like, I was just to mention, because from before, most of the people that said they wanted to help me only wanted to help me because they wanted to sleep with me. Everybody convenient, for the most part. There were some people who didn't. There were some genuinely good people that I stayed with. One of them was a Métis woman that, you know, they went after her and she was like, no, Keisha was a wonderful guest. All she does is work. Like, no, she's great. She understands. She was receiving some similar persecution herself. She's a Christian. But a lot of the people I stayed with, they brought me there, and then conveniently, when I got there, they wanted to sleep with me. They wanted to exploit me.
So you see that book there. That's this is a collection of studies that I did during the course of my degree, of Bachelor of Technology, majoring in engineering and applied sciences, under the guidance of a number of professional engineers with PhDs. This is solid work. This is according to the way things should be done, and expose things right at the beginning. This work is why they strapped me to a bed and drugged me against my will, because I was not there to get any type of buyout. I was not there to go away. I wanted to have justice, because my Bible says to love your brother as yourself. And I take that seriously. Regardless, you don't have to like me. I don't have to like what you're doing. It doesn't matter, because God says you can't just kill people. That's not the way it works. So this is the stuff that's been suppressing. And then in another engineering report that talked about all of the connections with Hunter Biden and Biota, that talked about Bill Gates with the WHO, the funding of the vaccines, and the funding of the WHO, and the connection, all these other connections, and showed all the different things that were demonstrating that stuff that Putin was talking about over there in the Ukraine was consistent with what was going over here, and did an analysis of risk and demonstrated what the police were doing in Canada, what they did with the court hearings, and stripped me of any due process, made me live like a slave, stole my children, let my other daughter get raped, and then continued to conceal it, and it went through into the United States. You know why they did this? You know who gets the worst punishment? The Christians. Look at Pastor Arthur Pawlowski, how many times they arrested the man, threw him down on the street, all this kind of stuff, because what? He wants to follow God? Look at all the other pastors. Just a young man got thrown into jail because of this drag queen story. I already didn't want to have that up. He's got little kids. Wife was pregnant, just had a baby. She had to be sitting there by herself while her husband's in jail. Right? Left, right, and center. There's a lot of Christians who are sitting down here that are trying to do what's right, and everybody is hanging them out to dry. Right?
Yeah.
And then these people that are doing this want to call the name of God.
Yeah.
Tell you right now, God will not be mocked. God will not be mocked. God will deal with you. You think that you're going to get away with it because you've done it so long? Everything has a stop date. God ain't going to play around anymore. Like I told you, the only how this thing gets settled, the Christians are going to do it because they're the only ones that have the courage to stand up, because everybody else, they're cowards. And they're doing filth like this. They'll talk a good talk, but when they're there, they're suppressing evidence. And all these people, they're either trying to get things suppressed about Trump. They wanted to get things suppressed about General Flynn or anybody else. But these are the two people that keep coming up.
Well,
there's a few others, but I'm saying, like, they're talking about their own white people. Who are they really serving? Whose interests are they serving? And why are all of these people connected?
And I don't believe anybody online that comes and talks about, oh, I feel bad about this, I feel bad about that tragedy and blah, blah, blah. I've had so many influencers with huge accounts slide into my DMs, and all sorts of people that I've interacted with. And they saw the situation and they wanted to come in and do something slimy. And because they couldn't, they just went on their way. Everyone wants to act like they care about a problem, but only when they can come and try to exploit it for their own benefit. And that's really sick and twisted. I believe almost nobody on the internet right now. There's a very small handful of people. And it's not even because I like everybody. One, in part because I have gratitude for some of the things some of the people done, and I can respect some of the work that they done. Other, probably, like my dad, personal, and other things. But most of the people, no, I don't trust anybody.
All I have to say is this: is that I don't know Nick Fuentes.
I don't know him personally.
But what I sit down and say is, he's got some interesting people that he surrounds himself with, right? And that's where he's got to start questioning it, because these guys, what they did was horrendous.
And you know what? Everyone will be like, oh, she's such a hoe, blah, blah, blah. Like, people are going around like, oh, she's trying to seduce people. She's a whore. Like, she's a Mexican. And people would say that I'm a whore and a Mexican, so I should be abused. People will actually say that and then say that I should be deported and stuff. It's like, I'm being publicly passed around, and this is how you're treating someone who's being abused against, like, without any choice. Like, they're just, what the hell am I supposed to do?
So a lot of these guys who's never gone through this, and the worst thing that you do to man is do this type of things to his children. This is what makes men kill themselves, right? And I'm not sitting down here screaming about white fatigue. I'm not screaming down saying I hate all these people. But look at what these guys are now doing. And they're talking about black people being animals. And I have not seen anybody demonstrate this level of poise when they're doing this type of thing. The worst thing you do to a man is rape his daughter, right? This is absolute worst case scenario that you can do to a man. And I'm not acting like these people. Look, let's go watch.
That's why me personally, that's why I said it's horrific what Charlie and his family is going through. The fact that they killed him like that, and his wife and daughter and son is in the position they are now, because I know what happened to me. If you didn't have any persecution the last couple of years and you don't know people personally, when things like this come up, I honestly don't believe you. I don't believe you, because when loads of people like Pastor Arthur and the other guy that we talked about from the church, when they came forward and were talking about all the abuse that was happening to them, and everybody was like, oh yeah, whatever. Most people are doing stuff for clicks and to line their pockets right now, and it makes me want to vomit.
Yes, and that's wickedness. Let's listen. Look at what these guys here are doing.
This guy's gonna get fucked. like a bartender over the I've seen you a couple times. Anyway, dude, nice to see you. You know I didn't see it. Don't fight back anymore.
Yeah, whatever! Get out of here! Get out! Get out!
So just don't close and back.
Get out!
Trying to fuck that up. Go back to Moonlight Mountain, you fucking piece of shit! Take your hands 3 times! I appreciate you, man. Sorry about my... Hey, we're all good. Like, this is the tolerant left. This is supposed to be tolerant. I just saved your life. What happened to free speech, motherfucker? What happened to free speech, motherfucker? Jaden, stop. Stop. Hey, we're the best friends. You guys killed that guy who's talking to people. What did happen to free speech? What happened to dialogue? What happened to discourse?
So you see these guys, they didn't go through near that. They're just losing their minds. And the people that are, a lot of these big race baiting accounts that you see, they're fully aware of what was going on with my daughter. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
they
I got
are.
stripped of everything I had, lived like a slave so that they go ahead and pass my daughter around and put her in compromising situations.
And a lot of people would say that they would help me, or they would say, oh, well, I'll fly you out to come spend time with me and have a vacation. I'm like, oh, can you donate to support the work that we're doing? I think that's more important. No. Okay, so you want to rape me. Like, you want to have sex with me. Like, you want to prostitute me out. Like,
Yes, and there's the mindset of exploitation that is so rampant, and it is offensive to God. And all the people that are calling on God, go right ahead, keep going. God fix you, and when God does it, no one else can say anything because God can just take a stroke and you're done.
Yeah.
Right? God just has to say the word and you're done. He doesn't need anybody to touch you. He can just do it himself.
every single person that was involved in the trafficking, obviously there were some people I stayed with that weren't. They were genuine Christians, thank God. But some of like all the people that were involved in the trafficking, they all were trying to sexually exploit me, make me do labor for them, like for free, and all sorts of stuff. Like every form of trafficking you can think of, psychological, physical, emotional, sexual, every type of abuse. It's amazing that I haven't killed myself. And then people want to go around saying that my dad is a trafficker or an abuser. Do you really think that someone whose father was an abuser could have this fortitude and come out stronger than literally everybody? And I've outperformed all of you. I've outperformed the people with loads of money. Like, and they want to come to me sideways as if they're better than me. No, you're not. You're a coward. You're weak. You care only about your pockets. I'm not saying money isn't important. Everybody needs money. I used to have it too.
This is where you have to fear that there's more threat from within than from without. Because Judas was one of the 12. Look at Brutus. He was a friend and close confidant of Caesar and in his inner circle. The biggest betrayals come from the people closest to you.
But you know what? People were saying online that that guy said F Charlie Kirk. That mob of white people attacked the one black guy because when he was driving by, he said F Charlie Kirk. So they threw him off his motorcycle or whatever and started attacking him. I have been repeatedly, I've been running, I was on and off the street, unlawfully imprisoned, all sorts of things. 5 years, raped, beaten, drugged, held at gunpoint, attacked by pit bulls, had to go hospital. Hospital wouldn't even help me because I refused to take the shot, and they knew where I was staying, the address where I was staying, and who I was staying with. It was a big person. I don't treat people like this. I don't even treat people with like this. With the level of abuse that I've received, for one, kills people. My body alone should have given up. My constitution should have given up, and I should have died a long time ago. Even doctors have said that. I statistically should have killed myself or been a crackhead, a prostitute of my own volition, a stripper or whatever else, and I didn't do that. The people who come to me and talk to me sideways, I don't even talk to them that way. I give them a lot of grace and mercy, and people think it's because I'm stupid. No, it's because I understand the bigger picture of what's actually going on. A lot of the people I support, a lot of them don't have respect for me either. A lot of them don't even like me, but I support them because I understand the bigger picture. They don't even give me the grace that I would give them.
Yeah, they don't. Let's just take this last clip of Trump here.
The point is, nobody has the excuse to overreact, even with these people that are talking.
Well, they're not
foolishly.
the ones that are overreacting. Don't what they're doing. They're not fit to lead. They're
No,
not.
exactly.
And they're actually, a lot of them are committing crime.
Yes.
So, yeah, let's listen to Trump here.
But do the best we can.
Anything on the investigation or anything on the latest that you've heard from the FBI or Cash Patel?
They've reported to me so far pretty much what you're seeing in the news is what it is. They have a virtual manhunt out there, so we'll see what happens. But we hope we get them. Thank you,
Mr. President.
Thank you.
You know, we're running up here on time. We're going to close here quick, but they don't. He knows what he's getting. What is being told to us, and everything else like that. They haven't caught his killer, the guy that tried to kill him. They haven't caught him. They know where the stuff is with Charlie Kirk. They know where the stuff with us, and how many other people has this happened to. They were coercing and getting people who were getting raped and beaten and needed help to try to tell them to don't talk to us so they can't get help. And these are white women that they're doing this to, so that they can stay there and get raped. And you sit down and say that you like white people, but you don't want them to get the help so that they cannot be raped. You know what I call that? That's a trafficker. You want to leave somebody in that situation? You're a trafficker. Why would you want to do that? What person in their right mind would do that? And then you want to come in there in front of people and say that you're this and that?
Yeah.
Your actions say that you don't know any God, right? And the people that I know certainly that were involved in this, well, you don't know any God. The people I don't know, I'm like, you got to start looking at the people you're associating with, really, because those kinds of people will not receive the protection of God. You can go and stand up, but God ain't going to protect you. Take your chances and see where that gets you. But I mean, God is not going to protect people like that. And in fact, God will bring the curse on them, and innocent people are going to suffer.
And you know what? Like, I know people are going to look at this a certain way because they see me as a black person or the N-word or a prairie N-word since I'm Native as well. But I have never in my life thought to myself, let me go and interrogate a homeless person, invite them into my house, try to have sex with them, or try to like set them up for all these things. Like, people have to consider what's being done and stop doing mental gymnastics, because this kind of stuff, like, I would never do this, and I'd never associate myself with anyone who done this.
What they did was wrong. Try to set her up, and that's the whole point. Men know exactly what's going on. Women,
the people in chat were freaking out
on this one because you don't know what you're talking about. I watch women do this. When it comes to these kinds of situations, you have no idea what you're talking about.
What'd you say?
These are men. I said the women need to keep their trap shut on commenting on this because you have no idea what the men are doing. Every man understands what's going on. And when it comes down to life and death situation, that's what the men are here for. Because you're making the men weak by trying to do that, and you're giving them excuses and allowing them to get away with their behavior, and they're going to turn on you.
Yeah,
right?
and the people who supported us the most were always the people who everyone told us not to support and to stay away from.
Anyway, I'm going to close here with a prayer because we need some prayer. And people need to turn to God and repent. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your love, grace, and mercy. Thank you for the hope that you have given us this day. And Father, I ask of you this day to help the men to that we can humble ourselves before God. And Lord, the ones that are doing wickedness, help them that they would turn away from their wickedness and come to you in repentance. And Father, this day I ask of you, Lord, to heal this people and heal the land, that they will turn away from their evil and that they would serve the true and the living God. Father, I ask of you this day to manifest yourself in a very big manner so that people will know that you are God. Father, I ask of you this day to watch over each and every one of us and help the men and the women to come together, rebuild our families, our churches, our community, our nation, that we could have some protection for the children who need it the most, is my prayer. In Jesus' name, amen.
And thanks, Dad, for the prayers always. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We need to unite under the banner of Christ. We can't let people divide us over foolishness. We need to understand that this is happening to all Christians. If you're a Christian, you're not going to be saved. If you're doing the right thing, you're not going to be saved. We don't fix this now, we're going to all be in problems. It doesn't matter what you look like, what your financial bracket is, whatever the case may be. It's coming for everybody. Anyways, thanks, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Have a good night or morning, whatever. To my dearest cares. Until we meet again, my friend.